I am more than proud of you. In fact, I didn't even know we could count that high. So yes, Mike.
Yes, ma'am. I had my shoes off when I did it. You smart butt. All right. So, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm actually doing really well. It's a cold, rainy day. We had like a flicker of snow in Dallas, Texas yesterday.
Really? Did you save it? I would have put it in the fridge. Nobody believed you. Take a picture of it.
I did not because it wouldn't even last that long. I mean, when I said flicker, it was like you could see it, and
Blast it.
then the second it touched the ground, it was like water.
Yeah, it's Dallas, dum dum. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we should have snow. We just got nasty rain, and it's awful. So yeah, man, I'm happy. I'm meeting people. Uh, I confirmed that Annie Wu really is Miss Willy Wonka now. So go Annie, right?
Woo, go
Um,
Annie Woo.
yeah, dude, more people. I met somebody else, and they're like, "Yeah, Annie Wu." I'm like, "Wow, dude." She's like our LinkedIn Bob Barker now or something.
What do you mean you met someone else? What did I misunderstand that? Who did you meet?
I met someone. I met someone. I meet a lot of people. People, good people that get my attention. I Zoom with them, and they were like, "Annie Wu." And I'm like, "This is like the sixth person in 2 weeks that was like, hey, Mike, Annie Wu. I love Annie Wu." And then, of course, what this Annie Wu sends thank you notes and does little random acts of kindness to make everybody love her even more, right? Like, so, dude, that's what it's all about. All the folks that tune into this, all the people in the community. I mean, it's growing, and it's no wonder why it's growing. Look who's here. Look who's around. People like to be around good people who like to help and push others up. And I'm blessed, man. Last year, man, people slam a door in my face. This year, now it's just
Opposite.
good people nonstop doing some great things, man. So I appreciate everybody. There's Raquel Flores. Go find Raquel Jr. She disappeared. The aliens probably got her. Okay. And who is that? We got
Wait,
Rob and oh man, look at all these
no,
people.
check this out. I
They're good people.
actually say his name. Can you say it,
Hmm?
Mr.
But you
Johnson
know I can't say it.
or Mrs. Johnson? There, Devonair. I'm going to
Oh,
guess it's Devonair, and
I'm
then
not. I can't even say my
Susanna
name.
Dawn.
All right. Nope. So we got Rob. I got Rob. I can't do the second part. Good evening to you, Rob. Good to see you. Good to meet you.
Wait,
All
you
right.
can't say this name? Oh no, no. I just really want to see you say this name.
No, I mean
Come
I
on.
don't need help making people not like me. Come on now. Dadgummit.
Okay, I would like to take a
Right.
try. I would like to actually take a shot at it. Just my name gets slaughtered all the time. So is it Radeshyam Patak? If so, let us know, my friend. Because and if not, please let us know how to correctly pronounce it. Because I'm a huge, huge advocate of saying people's names right.
Yeah. I just don't say them. So I'm a smart man. And by the way, I got this one. LinkedIn user. Hello, LinkedIn user. It's good to see you. There you
Oh
go.
my
See, I
gosh!
got
So
one right. All right.
really, I see as Sharifo Fatty. Just so you know, sir, if we got married, I would be Sia Fatty.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's beyond belief. You go down to the courthouse and get that fixed right now. I'll pay for it.
My boyfriend might have a
All right.
problem with that,
So
but
let's all right. So I'm not used to people actually coming in and being here this early. So I'm going to go ahead and move into the stuff that they want to see. Um, my buddy, right? Stephanie, all right? Stephanie Delfonso.
yes, let's talk about
Love
her.
this lady. Love this lady. She's like I met her a couple months ago, I think, maybe just a month or two ago. And the first thing I said was, "Where were you 10 years ago?" Right? Because anytime someone can help me with anxiety, stress, calm. I mean, most of us here work a demanding job, or we have a business, or we're building two, like me, and it's easier said than done. It's not excuses; it's reasons, right? We have things to do. People demand our attention, especially when we build a business before we can, hire other people to do all that. And so Stephanie, she has a webinar, all right, a Zoom, and this Friday, all right, so 12 o'clock Eastern time, and all are welcome. But I know her heart, and her heart is for people who are stressing out the most. Who's stressing out more than people who are laid off and unemployed right now? So she really wanted to give back. That's why she's here, right? That's what we do here. And she wanted to give back and push people up and help them uh, navigate that anxiety and stress because it's real, man. To say you don't have stress, that's just stupid talk. Uh, but you have two choices. You can bury your head in the sand or you can do something about it. And so for the amount of time that it would take you to go look at cat memes that aren't that funny on a social platform, go check it out and see if there's value there. That's what we're all about, right? Because I took the long route trying to figure it out. Here's the bottom line. People are either going to program you, right? The world and negativity and all that crap that hits us all day nonstop. Or we can choose to intentionally program ourselves with things that will help us do better, be better. And so this lady's here as a resource. Tune in. I'm going to be there. And we appreciate her opening that up and giving that value out to the people who need her. So just invest time in yourself. That's what it costs. A little bit of time in yourself to learn more. We appreciate you. Thank you, Stephanie. All right. So I think we're ready to go, man. Roll that outro when you are ready, and let's get moving.
I'm all for it. Thank you so much,
I'm woke
Stephanie,
up,
and
man.
everyone. Stay calm. All right, here we go. And here we go.
Push that button. Push it again.
Work it.
Third time's a charm.
And
Fifth time.
do it again. What is going on here?
Are you serious?
It's not working. Oh my God. It's not working.
Wait, like, come on now. Are you serious? So get up and dance this theme out.
Hey, you can do the dancing theme song here. So you know what? My apologies. I don't know why it's not working. That's the weirdest thing. It's literally just sitting there.
Well, I'm gonna call Becky so she can do my intro since you can't push the button. Oh my gosh, man. You know who I blame for this? I blame my buddies Nick and Raquel. That's who I blame.
Like, I have no idea what
Because
just
I had
happened
you all
here.
to myself, and now you're in high demand. And now everybody's hiring you and everybody's running around. And so nobody asked Sia for she's mine. All mine.
Yeah. Congratulations. This is what you get when you get to work with me, my friend. So lo siento mucho. Yeah, son of a gun. Like, it's not even like loading up at all. So there's another issue going on.
Honestly, I probably pushed a button that I shouldn't have pushed. And now you're over here thinking it's your fault. All right. So why don't we just skip I guess, let's just skip it and go on to the next thing. Oh, the next thing, before we bring up Tabatha, she's awesome. But before we bring her up, I was in a Zoom. So I had Becky as my coach, right? BeckyWolf.com, shameless plug. And burnout coach, because I need a calm coach and a burnout coach. I mean,
Yes.
Everybody's met me. You watch, you know this. So I went ahead and I was on the coaching call and I was distracted, right? And that's not uncommon, but I couldn't figure out what was bugging me. And so it dawned on me, okay. So I'll pull out my tackle box, right? And it's a little early, but I couldn't figure out what the problem was. I've been losing them daggum spinners for my bass fishing. That's where they're at. That's the only ones I got left. Look at those spinners. Now those are big spinners that she's got in her ears right there. So I'm thinking she's trying to catch jaws because I never seen no bass that big that need a spinner like this. So anyway, just to let you know, Becky, I went and stole one of your earrings. So fair trade. All right. I'll give you back your earring if you give me back my spinners. Okay. All right. So I think I'll keep her as a coach, but she is not just a good coach, but a very patient lady. She actually knew I was going to do something stupid and she was okay with it. So if that's not reason to at least look to hire her, I don't know what is. All right.
That's pretty damn funny. Well, I'm out here. Poor Becky. Your earrings are gorgeous. Ignore him. Okay, everyone? Yes. Just ignore him. Tackle box boy.
Yeah. All right. Look, you just disappeared, left me all awkward. All right. So we're going to get started with talking to Tabatha Barron. All right. Met this lady just a little while ago, a few weeks ago. And the conversation was just fun. And I was inspired because what she has done, it wasn't like she set out to do something. And most of us can kind of feel that. It wasn't that I set out to do X, Y, and Z. A lot of us out here and the people watching the show, you all do that because something happened in your life or someone else's life that prompted you to take action. And that's what Tabatha is all about. And so I'll go ahead and bring her. Hi, Tabatha. How are you?
I'm okay back here laughing.
You back here laughing?
Yeah, you guys are funny.
Are you laughing with me or at me?
Say that again.
You laughing with or at me?
With. I'm laughing with
I say
you.
you're laughing.
Yes.
Good answer. There's no wrong answer. I don't care. As long as people laugh, they can laugh with, at, they can point, they can, yeah, whatever. So good to have you here. I appreciate you. Um, so here's what I heard when we met. All right. Well, I won't spoil it, but I'll ask the question, then I'll give you what I heard you say. So why did you choose? First of all, what do you do? And then I'll tell you what I heard. What do you do now? What's your business about in the short form?
I created a platform that allows each child to effectively communicate their way home to and from school, for elementary school and K through 12, right? I got tired of hearing people being left on the school bus, being dropped off at the wrong stop, things like that. So it's nothing but software,
that's what
hardware.
I think it's in your profile. I was like, wait a minute. So somebody or some bodies lost your 5-year-old niece twice. And then you was like, dadgummit, I don't want to wait for 3 or 4. I'm going to take action and do something to help. Because it's not that they're bad people. It's a lot of stuff. It's a big thing that, lots of moving parts in the school systems and things. So it's not that anybody's bad or anything. So they got a lot of stuff to do. And so with that being said, what motivated you? Because it's one thing to grumble and complain, but it's another thing. So what prompted you to make solutions for this arrival and dismissal process to make sure no child was dropped off at the wrong house or Kroger or some or grocery store or something?
One of the things is that I never thought before it happened to me that I could add value, right? So I thought somebody else will eventually solve the problem. Somebody else is going to fix the problem. It never happened. And the situations just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And when it landed on my lap, I got really angry. I said, Mom, give me the phone number to the school so I can call. She's like, absolutely not. So I had to stop talking to her for a few days because I was upset because I couldn't believe she didn't want me to call and ask questions. That's what I wanted to do, ask questions. But I just decided at that point that I needed to be part of the solution versus part of the problem, which is sitting griping about it and not adding value to them or asking how I can support them.
You're like me because your mama knew that you were going to call and yell and stuff until you calmed down. Yeah, she's like, she took your phone away like he's a child again.
Yes,
but
calls me a
then
hammer.
down, well, so that conversation, is that when you realized that people weren't just, it wasn't that they didn't care. It wasn't that they were goofy. It's just there was a missing process, right? There was just something missing to ensure that it doesn't happen. That's what you found out, right?
That's what I found out. So after asking a lot of different questions from a lot of different people, what I found out was that the bus drivers didn't really have enough information, and they were being tasked to stay on schedule and do things that, it's in their job description, but holy crap, you're looking at 2, maybe 3 trips that they have to take every morning and every afternoon. And that's a lot of students to kind of keep track of. And then I found that, the parents weren't even a part of the dismissal process, which actually caused a little bit more churn, right? And then you have the child who's making decisions outside of what the parents have actually told them to do. And then so you have all these different key components moving around. So you have to figure out how to get all of it, everyone to talk in the same language and saying the same things in order to have that type of success. So I asked a ton of questions, I learned a ton of things. And then I've incorporated everybody's consideration, everyone's stuff, put it all in a platform and gave it back.
There you go. And so is this, because I've never heard of this before. I've heard of like accidents happen. My little girl had one, right? It wasn't a big deal, but the substitute driver, bus driver, went the other way, and the little first grader freaked out, thinking that because he passed her house up, it was going around the block, right? And so it just wasn't what she was used to the last 200 days, and she just had a meltdown. And so, it is this kind of thing. Are there other things in place, or are you kind of the pioneer into this kind of solution, so we don't miss kids from arrival and dismissal? And what makes you different if there is something out there?
So the one thing is that I'm not the only one that's trying to solve this problem. The problem exists, and that's why there's many other people trying to solve the same problem, just in a different way. So there are buttons that they put at the back of the school buses that actually have the drivers walk to the back. That kind of fails because nobody wants to go walk at the back of the bus. Then there are times in which children will, the little ones, will get underneath the seat on the wheelbase and fall asleep, and you can't find them anywhere. And so those are situations where those things happen. So there's some really extreme cases, but then there's things in the middle where the kids just can't be seen. Everyone's trying to solve the problem in one way or another. What makes us different is that we actually cover 100% of an elementary school campus population. So that means the walkers and bikers have a time and date stamp for when they leave the building, car riders, childcare bus riders, and yellow bus riders, which are also considered district buses. So we help them manage every aspect and every student going in every direction. But the other thing we do is we redirect. So when the child is attempting to go home, okay, so they're going to go home their way. They don't want to go home your way. They want to go home their way. Trust me, that happens so often. I seen a little person do that yesterday. The thing about it is that when they make that decision, the students don't really know. I mean, the teachers sometimes don't know that the parents haven't made that change. So they attempt to go another way. And that being able to say, wait, you don't belong here. You actually belong 2 rows over. And so that makes us very, very different from anyone else.
So you cover the gamut. It doesn't matter if they walk, ride a bike, ride a car, bus. Look, kid comes to school, all kids leave school and go where they're supposed to go. That's what you
Correct.
do, all right? And there's no, if they fall asleep in the back or whatever, you all are going to get them there. So to me, I mean, again, I have no clue about education and administration, but it sounds like everybody would want this and benefit from it because the people responsible, right? Like principals and administrators, they don't want that. They don't want to lose kids, right? That's just bad in general. That's bad for everybody, right? It's bad business and everything. So teachers, they're teaching, so they shouldn't be trying to do it, right? And so who likes this? Is it parents, kids, students, administrators, principals? Is everybody kind of like giving you the thumbs up? Like, yeah, that's absolutely what we need.
It kind of depends. It really does depend on which group likes it the most. Principals love it because they know they're like normally the first line who gets fired. So between the bus drivers and the principal, the front office, they get terminated first in the event that a child becomes missing multiple times, right? But I was told that the children wouldn't like it. The children love it, by the way. I was told the teachers, it's just, yeah, kids love it. They like seeing their picture. They like being seen, and they like feeling like their parents. They got a credit card, and they're ready to swipe and be gone, you know? So it's pretty cool. The parents
You're like the frosted flakes of you're like the frosted flakes of responsibility here. Damn, kid approved.
Yep, kid approved. Yeah, what is that? Kid approved. Yes, they really like it, and I was surprised because even when I go into the schools today, they know who I am, and they're like, I got my card, so they're really happy about it. The parents love it as well because the thing about the parents is that I had a mom walk up to me and say, "Thank you," because for the first time, I now know when my walker is going home. And that made a significant difference for her because when the child is leaving school at 3:30 and they don't arrive until 4, but it's only a 10-minute walk, there's a couple other things that are happening in between. And so from that, now once she started getting her messages, she started being able to time her child, and then say, okay, great. When they didn't make it in the 15-minute mark, she started walking towards them. And then she was able to start getting rid of some bad behaviors that were happening for that family.
Awesome. Hey, Mary Baker loves it. Loves logic. That's why I like Mary Baker. She's smart. She's a smart lady. So how many students do you and your company serve? Like how many students do you help per day?
So every single day we find at least 2 children misplaced. It's not funny. I have this nervous giggle when it comes up to that because it's so weird because this far into the school year, you're thinking, that doesn't happen. Well, yes, it does. So I just looked at someone's alerts yesterday. They had 15 different alerts. So that means 15 different children were out of position. They were attempting to go home a different way. And so if that's what's happening every single day, then we help at least 2 children every single day. But I have seen it upwards of over 30.
Wow. That's insane, man. I mean, wow. My kids get on my nerves, but I don't want to lose them, right? I want them to come home safe and sound. And that's important to me. I mean, it's just we got enough stuff to worry about during the day. rather than where's our kid? Like, I hate to be eating dinner and be like, we're missing a child. Like, oh, they're at someone else's house, right? So, um, real quick, share a story real quick about how the system that you and your company implements. How has it helped the parent and child? A real case scenario.
Okay. So real case scenarios. The school normally shuts off their phones and they lock their doors. They're automatic. About 30 minutes. So if they let out school at 3:30, at 4 o'clock, the doors are locking. So one day I actually happened to be in a primary school, which is normally K-2. And so I was sitting there and a parent arrives as the AP is coming in the door. And she's like, my kid didn't get off the school bus. Oh my gosh, what happened? What did you guys do? Right. So, so the AP didn't skip a beat. She went down and she went into the system on her phone and she found the kid and found out, yes, they placed him on the right bus. Yes, what time he came. She said, come on in for a second. She brought him in, made a phone call to the transportation and said, hey, we know that we put the child on this specific bus at this specific time. Can you please tell me where you are in the route? They were able to answer that question and everyone was calm. The mom, maybe not so much, but everyone else was calm because you no longer have that opportunity to point fingers at everyone else. So the mom was thankful because she realized she jumped the gun. But at the same time, everybody was safe and they knew exactly where that child was, which made things so much better for that day.
Yeah, no, and again, it's peace of mind. It's just one less daggum thing to worry about. Everybody, losing your jobs as a principal and parents and kids. And I like what who said that. See, I'm not used to catching up to the chat. Somebody said, and Sia will tell me in a minute. Somebody said that it was a good responsibility. Oh, it was Nicole. Nicole said that it was a teaching them responsibility, right? Not to lose the card, follow instructions. There's a lot of side benefits I'm hearing from. So just to wrap it up, how can people, so parents, teachers, anybody, how can they help get this into schools? Because it seems like they may not know that this kind of solution exists. So what's the best thing people can do to get it in school?
So what you can do is actually go to our website, kyksfirst.com, and go ahead and schedule a demo for your principal and for yourself to see actually how the system works. And then we will come in and do a whole entire demonstration for your school or your PTA or your administrators in order to help get the product there for you. And by the way, part of our program actually gives money back to the school if they implement our program. So it becomes like a outside fundraiser without really having to do a fundraiser. So sometimes we don't want to always buy those cookies and that gift wrap. If you implement our system into your elementary school campuses, you have the potential to get a large amount of money back to your schools to help support them in their following year.
Yeah, so it's affordable. It's not like, we got
Yeah.
to sell the school books to buy it. I mean, it's very affordable. And again, it's prevention. I mean, because again, I can imagine possibilities of liability and things that could happen, and nobody wants that. So prevention, getting things in place, educate, keep kids safe, worth the investment. So, folks, if you want to talk to Tabatha, you want to share with somebody, she's on LinkedIn. You go to her website, and I mean, you get to try the daggum thing. So try it. If it's great, seek more, learn more. If it's not great, then she wouldn't be on the show. So we know it's great. All right. So Tabatha, I appreciate you. Keep on out there, get out there and share your message. Help keep the kids safe, people's jobs at stake, and just let life go on. Thank you for what you do. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, where's my little cheat sheet at? By the way, remember, guys, I'm taking notes. I'm not playing Candy Crush, not right now. I only do that when Sia comes up here, which I can't see her backstage anymore, which is scary. It's like I lost my blankie or something, my security blankie. So I'm going to first of all, the lady Christine Jones. Uh, she's just a nice lady. Again, I love this show because good people reach out to me. I do my best to try to talk to everybody. But man, she was just inspirational. She is already, she's in a school system. She has a spectrum of experience in administration and teaching and a wealth of knowledge. And again, just somebody who you got to love people who don't sit around and complain and point fingers and gossip and all that stuff because that does nothing useful. Doesn't even make you feel better if you think about it. Well, she just started thinking of ways that she can do something, right? And so she didn't have all the answers, but man, you gotta love somebody who tries. So Christine, she might be with my outro. There she is. I thought she done got lost with my outro. My I lost everything today. Internet, my mind. How are you today, Christine? I can't hear Christine unless she's doing a mime impersonation.
You can't hear me?
I can now.
Okay, hi.
There you go. Hi.
Hey,
It's
how are
okay.
you?
It's me. It's
Hi.
good. You look you're okay. So
Yes.
welcome to the show. My goodness. So yeah, you are just a nice lady and you're just trying. I'm not going to spoil the fun. I'm going to wait till your buddy gets up here. But you're just out there trying to make things happen, do good things. You care. You care. You got an education because you care about people and kids and in the future, right?
Right.
That's why you did it.
Hmm.
And so many. I mean, come on. It's not there's a mass leaving exodus is what I heard on the news, and people hear things and people are leaving left and right. And so it's just good that everybody is trying to figure out how they can help this situation because nobody wants anybody to get dumber. We want them to be smarter and more equipped and educated, right? So I love your style is not blaming and getting in all that stuff. You're just a good lady, a good teacher trying to help and do all you can, and you really took a liking to helping teachers, the front line people, right? The people who are facing this, uh, with skills and how to do things. And so we're going to get to that. And that's how I met the other lady, Kristin, right? So Kristin Nori, see, I got that right. My man, I practiced that for 10 minutes. So where is she with my outro too? Or there she is.
Good job.
How are you today?
Great. Good job on
Uh-oh.
pronunciation.
I hear a helicopter noise. Anybody else hear that?
Can you hear me now?
No, you're in a helicopter. Oh man. So Kristin, so your mic went out or your camera went out, then your mic went out. Now you're in a helicopter. Man. Uh-oh. Do you have an app on maybe? Nope. Oh,
Hi
look, there's
guys.
Thea.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know
Hi.
what's going on. So, Kristen, if you don't mind, at this point, just kind of like log back in and out again because I know you're coming from the hotel, and your snowstorm might be affecting your sound and audio. So, if you don't mind going in and out, let's get you back in again. Sorry,
That's cool.
we're
It's a
giving her
live
the
show.
boot. Das Boot.
It's a live show. Stuff happens. Weather affects people. Whatever. All right, we're good. All right, and everybody in the audience is awesome. They get it. They run businesses and company departments, so they know crap happens. They're not silly. So I appreciate the patience. Uh, we'll plug her back in. But I met her through you, and she does a lot of great. So I'll let her speak. But first of all, let me ask you this: how did you meet Kristin? Because that was interesting. I just thought that was good. So how did you meet Kristin?
So we were actually second connections, and we started to comment on some posts. And then I would read her post, and then she would read my post, and we thought we could have been writing that post, for each other. And then some of our mutual connections said, you two should meet. And Kristin was spoken very highly of. So we ended up connecting, and then we had a coffee chat. And then when we had a coffee chat, we realized that our viewpoints on education aligned. We were both outside of the box thinkers, and we were interested in problem solving and trying to come up with solutions that were obtainable from a teacher point of view.
Right. Yeah, and I remember her telling me that you guys had a strong passion for the social emotional learning
Yes.
and growth mindset. How the hell I remember that. But yeah, and that's what appealed to me, right? I mean, because I wanted to know more about that. So you guys met, right? And you were talking about it. So here's the thing: there's a I didn't even know this. There was a growth mindset. thing or kind of, structure or teaching for the kids. But you also realize that it can be applied to teachers and adults, right? Tell me more about that.
So what I noticed, I've been teaching now. This will be my 30th year of teaching. So I realized that I would get frustrated, and we would get new initiatives, and there was a lot on our plates. And I figured out that if I would start to kind of go at it with an open mind, and then figure out how I could adapt it to what I was already doing in the classroom, and how I could fit it already in, then I was able to take that a little bit back off of my plate and feel more in control of the situation. So that's what I choose to do now. So sometimes, and other teachers will tell you that it is sometimes constantly, like minute by minute, you have to refocus and have a positive attitude. And then there's at other times where it's flowing pretty good, and then you don't need to tap into that. But I'm keep that at the forefront of my mind, and I use that growth mindset throughout my whole teaching and how we can problem solve with the students as well.
Yeah, and I think I'm getting word now that her helicopter probably just landed. So let's see if she's out of her helicopter. You want to try?
Can you hear me now?
Oh my goodness, sweet Jesus. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, how are you?
Hi, Kristin.
It's good
Yeah.
to be back. Sorry about that.
They got so they got a helipad in your hotel room. That's what I heard. All right. So I'm glad it worked out. I'm happy. Christine is doing a fine job. She's doing a great. She's a pro. I mean, if she could teach kids for 30 years, what can't she do? Good Lord. I mean, I've got kids in my house, and I'm like, dude, if I couldn't imagine if somebody dropped 40 more of them in there. Whoo, and I had to teach them. Hats off to you. All right. So you heard her take, and she talked about how you and she met. And she was getting on topic of the growth mindset for kids, but then value of applying it to adults. And so I'm going to ask you, you all had mentioned a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So what do you mean by that? Like, how does that apply to teachers in real life, right? So they're dumping stuff on teachers, and there's a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So thing is, I always used to say the same things I would say to adults in that, you have a fixed mindset. You're saying, I can't do that, which means you're not going to, once you've told yourself it's there. But that growth mindset allows you to take it on and say, okay, yet. And the key word there being that there's always room for growth. Graduated from 50 schools, learning always continues, and that's on.
Okay, so we traded your helicopter in for a mute button. Now you're getting stutters. I know this ain't your fault. No, I know. I'm just happy it's not me messing up my show. I was sending you a gift card. Thank you. But it's okay.
Too.
So go ahead. No, you're behaving. You don't get nothing when you behave. When you look when you make me look good, then you get rewards. All right, which isn't hard to do. Ask Becky. All right. So you heard what she was talking about. What is your take on, Christine, the growth? Like, so teacher, it's no mystery that teachers, I have teachers in my family and friends, and it's like they just keep piling stuff, right? I mean, who else is going to do it? You're the frontline people. So stuff keeps getting piled. There may be mandates and different curriculums. So gosh, how, in your interpretation, what is the difference between a teacher focusing from a fixed to a growth? How does that look, and how does that help them?
So what I see it too is, if you approach it out of curiosity and you're wondering about things, it's going to be a very different field than push down. So even if they're having you do something, if you're inquisitive, you're wanting to know the why behind something. So there's often times where I'll take a look at professional information that's not even given to me, and I will go ahead and investigate it, because I want to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can for my students. So there was an initiative a couple years ago for the science of reading. Well, I had already started learning about the science of reading because I wanted to know more about how children were reading. So after that, we started doing some professional work. A group of us were taking a look at that, and I was teaching them. Then the next year, the reading of the science of reading came into play. So I think it's just that continuing, we're always learning. I mean, I've never done this before. You're just continuing to learn and to grow.
Yeah, and teachers are just people too. I mean, they're people with a lot of responsibility. So it's easy to get overwhelmed. I think everybody watching this, right, is probably easily could be overwhelmed on a multiple occasions. I mean, me, I was supposed to rest today. Yeah, good luck with that, right? My family's been sick. Life goes on. So I love the whole approach about mindset because you can face a same situation with two different mindsets and feel better about it, be more efficient about it. And it still stinks, right? The situation still stinks, but you are having a better time navigating it. I think that's what, so are you trying to say, like, just like everybody else, it's hard to see the forest from the trees when you're overwhelmed? And that's what the whole growth mindset that you're teaching and incorporating is all about for students and teachers. Did I get that right? Did I listen?
Yes.
Good. So I get a gold star. That's what you're telling me.
Good,
Right?
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, dude. Talking to teachers, I just feel like I'm going to go to a principal's office like I did 22 years ago. So I am a little nervous. Yes, ma'am. So, hey, Christine, or Kristen, you were talking
Yes.
earlier about collaboration as a key component to that and dealing with it.
I think after so many years experience myself, one of the things the most was that you have to work together as a group and work with your team and lean on the for you.
Right.
Without
And if
that,
you couldn't. Yeah, if in the audience, we did a sound check, I promise. See, it makes me do it, makes everybody do it. But again, give her grace. She was in a hotel. She's got things to do. There's a snowstorm. But, she was talking about don't fly solo. I remember talking to him about this. And, lighten the load. If anything, the mental load. Support staff, collaborate, work together. Everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, right, Christine? So,
yeah.
Just kind of again thinking outside the box and saying, well, why do I have to do all this, right? Why can't I offload it to someone else that can probably help me through it? And so, on this subject, because I don't want to ruin it, I'm speaking for Kristen. But anything else on the growth mindset, on as far as reducing the amount of stress? Anything else that you want to hit on this note?
Did you want to go, Kristen? Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I would just say that one of the biggest things is setting those boundaries, finding that work-life balance. While we can, say, oh, we can push and push, and at the end of the day, we're human, and we have to take time for ourselves because you cannot pour from. I was mentioning earlier about really leaning on, the people around you. I think that Christine and I very much align on in terms of our mindset and our approach when we in these days.
Yeah, it sounds like y'all been talking to Becky because it's like I hear everybody's telling me this. It's finally getting through my thick skull. And Randy House said, "What do you do if you have a mind that cannot be set?" You do a live stream at 7 p.m. called Hounds of Business Happy Hour, buddy. That's exactly what you do, man. So yeah, Randy, I'll be waiting for the Randy House of Pain live stream anytime now. I just gave you, look at that, genius, man. All right, so he's gonna have to Google that. He's like, he didn't listen to that type of music. So there's a second component, growth mindset. So how does a growth mindset support self-care? Christine, this is to you.
Okay. So when we have a growth mindset, we're able to solve problems, we're able to delegate, we're able to take things off of our plate. When we take things off of our plate, then we allow ourselves some more time for self-care. So it doesn't have to be a one-person show, like Kristen said. It's not flying solo. It's doing teamwork.
Yeah, Kristin, if assuming your helicopter is still off,
Absolutely.
what do you think? What do
Absolutely. Just to piggy, teachers, good teachers especially, get asked to do everything, and that's going to burn out. So finding that, just because you have the time doesn't mean you have to stay a long time to realize that was just, you can't, you can't, if you go to one child's soccer game on a Saturday, next thing you know, you have 28 invitations, and you just can't do that all the time. So, making sure that we take that step back and set those limitations, it's not an excuse. It's crucial to help you to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, again, clearing things off your plate, it sounds easy. So let me ask you this. So give me a scenario. You're teachers, right? So when you're out there and it sounds easy, and then you go to work tomorrow and it's not easy. So what's a little example of something that you guys have done or seen other teachers do, a little thing that could make a big difference in that, feeling burnt out and overwhelmed? Give me something.
So I took probably about 4 or 5 hours off of my weekend plate on Saturdays. So I would spend planning all by myself, flying solo. And I had my whole table all spread out and with everything. Well, I did a couple of things. I was writing lesson plans with paper pencil. And then I went to creating my own digital copy. So then that way I could use like the skeleton, or I could, reapply it for the next year, and then I could just tweak it. Then I also worked with my team. So we divvy it up. We all sit down, we work together, and within an hour, we have our lesson plans done, completed. And if there's a little bit left to do, if we each take 10 minutes, 10 minutes flying solo is different than when you're working together as a team. So I freed up a weekend.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking to myself, well, what if somebody doesn't want to play ball or they don't think it's going to help them? But I'm like, okay, I know teachers. You're like, hey, do you want, we can lighten load and make your day better. Probably a lot of teachers like, I'll give it a whirl, right? Like, so the collaboration, do you find that it's really easy for teachers to band together and get through it, because really you don't have much anybody else, right? So do you see a lot of teachers that are open to playing along and working together when it's kind of an isolated profession, right? Is there any resistance to that, or is it welcome in your experience?
I think you have to build trust amongst your
Yeah.
team members. Kristin, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I know we've talked in depth about that as well.
Yeah.
And Kristin, real
first
quick,
thing
if you want to drop your camera and keep your audio on, we might get bandwidth so we can hear you. So try to drop your camera and see if we can keep you in there.
Okay.
All right, now let's see if we can get it
Can
back with.
you hear me now?
All right, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I was just going to say that I think important with that is not just, building that team and that trust, but also, being able to talk to your superiors and your administrators. I staff position for the last several years, so I didn't have a team, so to speak, thrown at me because I was support staff. It was like, oh, we can just give this to you, and you can take this. Doing morning bus duty and afternoon bus duty, in addition to covering lunches, and I had to just go in and say to my principal, I'm happy to help, but these are all these prioritize and take some of this off my plate. And because I approached him and said, this, I need you to help me, he was extremely, appreciative and not even aware of how. So, speaking up and being able to, fend for yourself a little bit and make sure that you're taking it because somebody says, oh, you have to. A lot of times principals are dealing with hundreds of people and don't. So, that's just another component in addition to really building that strength with you.
Yeah, and those are good points. So to Kristin, I mean, because that makes me think of you can't collaborate well and build trust if you're not okay, right? If you're grumpy and like human beings get, and you're overwhelmed and you're burnt out. So how do teachers set boundaries to preserve self-care and take care of their own mental health so they can collaborate and do those things?
Setting boundaries. One of the ways that I really had to take a look at my boundaries because I was spending a lot of time on teaching, and that included last year. So I was taking a look at what I could do professionally that was going to lead me to the next level in my teaching and just in life in general. So I took those assignments that would help me further that. The rest of it I took a look at, and I decided that I wasn't going to do as much. So I cleared off that part. The other thing that I also did was make sure that with parent communication is huge. It's important that we're communicating with our parents, but I did not set boundaries with my parents. So I was getting messages in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was getting it throughout the whole day. And then I was coming home and I was getting messages until 10 o'clock at night. So if you do that, then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you put like office hours or like where it's silent, so parents know that you can't reach them. And if you're going to do that, it should be done at the beginning of the year. I found out too late that I should have done that. So that was one of the things that I was able to do to try to, to set some more boundaries and to free up some more time for self-care.
Yeah. You said be able to say no, right? So
Yeah.
it's okay to say no or not right now.
Right.
And again, this is the same thing that entrepreneurs and professional leaders have to deal with. It's not different. It's just different because we don't have a bunch of screaming kids in the process. It's actually harder for you. Um, but time blocking, right? So if I'm doing, it's not that you're going to ignore people, but you have to
Right.
get papers graded between a certain amount of time. So shut the phone off, tell people that, and just do it. Don't get distracted so you can't do your papers until midnight, right? Is that what I hear you saying? Am I catching this?
Right. And in fact, I just decided to stop doing the app. It's not for everybody, but I decided to stop because I just decided that I had so many ways of communicating with the parents. It was almost too overwhelming because I was trying to like check maybe like four or five different ways that I was communicating with parents. So what I ended up deciding to do was streamlining how I was communicating with the parents.
Yeah, and it goes with what Kristen was saying, and again, I'm not trying to speak for her, but internet issues. But she said that self care is not an excuse, right? It's critical. It's crucial to what you can't pour out an empty cup. That's duh, and it's easier said than done because people don't know that. People are driven by an agenda, and you have to get things done, and it's just like, well, I'll get this thing done, and then guess what? 50 other things have to be done. So it's just like any other profession. You got to learn to prioritize. Easier said than done, but well worth the work, right? So,
Right.
Kristen, if you can hear me, the physical aspect of self care. What are some things that your
Abs-
thoughts on the physical aspects?
Absolutely. Obviously, if you don't have self care, one of the things that lead to health problems. You're going to end up with high blood pressure, heart problems. A lot of people go through weight gain or whatever it may be because of lack of exercise and diet at the time. What do teachers do? They lean on candy. That's one of the first things we tend to do. Oh, where's the candy? Just trying to find other things and cope. But it's not always necessarily in the positive. We don't get brain whenever we want, so we're not drinking enough water, and that leads to being more tired. Setting those boundaries in terms of parents. One of the things I use, you've got to ask 3 people in the class before me. Talk to them the questions you have, because chances are, if you're asking, somebody else has the same question. Some of that parent contact.
Yeah, and you had talked about, correct me if I'm wrong, picking your school tribe, right? Wisely. What does that mean? What do you?
So the importance of that is definitely being able to, make sure those negative Nancy's that are always going to be bringing you down and always looking for that, about whatever it might be. One of the things I did is I didn't eat in the staff lounge because I found a lounge, at least at the schools where I worked, that's where the complaining happened, or if they're gathered, in the workroom. So making sure you find those other people with that have and the positivity and surrounding, because the more positive you have, the more you receive in return.
Right. And focusing on the people. I remember you saying this, focusing on the people and not ideas, right? So complaining and negative aspect and not problem solving and how can we get through it and that kind of lens. And I think that goes back to self-care. If you're just beat up all the time and you feel frustrated and hopeless, you're not going to be a good collaborator. I'm not. Sometimes I get in such a bad mood every now and then, I just cancel all my meetings because that does them and me a favor, right? Like I could be in such a bad mood. Why even have the meeting, right? Because then I know I overextended myself. And so I think, again, I hear you ladies saying a common theme, grace, man. You got to have grace and understanding with people because just because someone's grumpy doesn't mean they're a bad person. They're just a grumpy person going through something. And this is why you ladies are trying to teach and coach in a gentle way through experience, right? Because you've been here. You can go insane or you can try to find a reasonable way that works, right? And so I think y'all need to speak to Stephanie DeFonso. I think she could help you all incorporate even more stuff that people would go, because Stephanie's cool because Stephanie say, try this. And I'm like, I ain't gonna try that. And then I'm like, okay, I'm desperate. I'm gonna try that. And it works, right? It like me and my older daughter, some of the calm techniques she's taught, it may sound hokey to some people. I live in the South. Let's get real, right? So, but if it works, dang, I'm all for it, right? So let me make sure. Just a couple more questions because I can talk to y'all all day long, man. Y'all are just so much fun. And again, this is applicable to everything. This is not just, teachers, but it's important because that's our future. It's our kids, right? That's the people that we don't want to lose. Of what you're doing, you're saying, hey, you can enjoy the job that you took. You took this job for a reason, but then it gets hard, right? And you feel hopeless. And you ladies are trying to tell people, no, it's not hopeless. You can have your cake and eat it too, right? So now I see Becky's here because we said burnout 3 times like Beetlejuice, and here she is, buddy. I knew it. Say burnout, burnout, burnout. Here she goes. All right, she pulled the car over. Start texting. Good deal. Glad you're here, Becky. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead. So thinking about everything that we've talked about. All right. Well, first of all, I wanted to ask, how can you tactfully, and I'm going to direct it to whichever lady wants to handle it. How can you tactfully talk about the administration to make changes that you want to see? Because there's only so much you can do, and you talked about that. But how do you get administrations to take a look and kind of get on board with these kind of ideas that you guys are talking about?
So
Go ahead. I'll jump in when you're done.
Okay. So Kristin and I have talked about this. I think the important part is to think before you go in to talk to your principal and go in with data, go in with something to back up what you have to say. And then if you're looking for help, say, I've tried X, Y, and Z, and I still need help. And what can you help me with X, Y, and Z? Or can you point me in the direction of somebody that could help? If you want to change things in your classroom and you're mandated, then what I have done too, I've gone in with the data and I've said, this is what I've already tried. My children are not progressing the way that I think that they should be. This is what I would like to try. And this is how I would like to implement it. And then I've had very good success with being able to do that. Then I also will go back and I will show how my children were improving with what we were doing. So then that way they can also see, that there's some benefits to doing this and to listening and to working together as a team. And I just got to say on the record that I've been very blessed to have a wonderful principal and a wonderful supportive assistant principal.
Yeah, and you won't say this, but I will. Sometimes you're the right person in the wrong place, and there's lots of schools and opportunities. So if you find yourself into a negative environment that just from the top down is negative or bottom up is negative, you might want to leave. right? You might want to go somewhere that has that. I'll say it. I know you didn't say that, but I said, but that's not you, right? Because you're a positive person. You know, it's hard to yell at you. You're just a nice lady, right? But I want to make that clear. Sometimes you are just in the wrong place. And there's a question here. It says, do you really think people don't know boundaries, or do they just pretend they don't know? I'll take the latter. Yeah, I'm not Pollyanna. I'm kind of with this person. Right. So, Kristin, if
I
you want
love
to tackle
that.
that,
I absolutely love that. I think that, a lot of school setting administrators absolutely know how much is on our plate. And it's not a matter of not knowing the boundary. It's just that their boundary from their boss is also difficult. But I think a lot of times, I've worked in enough schools. I think I've had good administrators and bad administrators. However, my good administrators, people that if they didn't know how to help me, they would find someone who could. And that to me was key, because that back. But then also, really, if you don't have somebody that you feel you can approach, typically have either, districts have unions, or there's, a teacher advisory council. And, we don't have unions, but there's a spokesperson that is available on staff that is you can go to and tell, this is what's going on, I need help, and they can then take that on, so it's more objective, and you can remain anonymous. That tends to get up and speak up, which leads to better trust overall in general.
all right, hey, great stuff. And by the way, man, you guys are fun, but I love the comments, people in the audience, people who tune in are new. I mean, you guys keep them coming. I love seeing the comments. I told you my audience is smart and fancy. I know. I told y'all that. I got to looking at my audience in the first few episodes. I said, my God, these are sharp people here. What are they doing here? But I know why, because I got
Keep
guests
getting
like you
distracted
on.
reading it.
That's
Well,
what it is. They're curious. They're like, there's intelligent people here, and then this guy. I'm intelligent, but it takes a while. I hide it well. I play well. So let me ask you two more questions, ladies, and we'll wrap it, because I love this discussion. And again, people can reach out to you if they're a teacher or somebody that wants to know, or they know somebody and they want some tips to help them. Don't take it lightly, man. These teachers and firemen and there's certain, military, it's a team effort, right? I think we all should care about them, whether you have kids or not. It's very important. And the crap and stress that you guys deal with. Um, I mean, I know people, if I made 200,000 a year, I don't know if it's worth it. Right? Like, but so we got to take care of. So if you know somebody that's struggling or having issues, um, reach out to these ladies and say, hey, do you have any ideas? Who do you know who can help? Do you know a way that I can approach this person to maybe just be a sounding board, right? Just listen to somebody. Hell, that could help somebody tremendously. Just to have some daggum compassion, right? And is that the first time I said daggum? Is that
think
daggum?
so.
Everybody, that's why
I've heard
everybody.
it a couple times
We're doing good.
earlier.
Oh, really? I haven't caught that.
Just once
Okay.
earlier.
I was gonna say, daggone. I was like, the audience is thirsty. They just left to go get something to drink because they're like, well, he ain't gonna say it. Supposed to
Well,
sip
that
every
was
time. What?
nice.
Yeah, well, you're after hours. Kids don't watch this show. You all can drink whatever you want to. Tell them I said that. All right. So so here's the thing I like about you all. It's not just in person, right? We have the luxury of being online. We have a virtual community. You know, like I said, me and Zuckerberg, we didn't have no friends. Now we got them. But how do you guys use LinkedIn to support yourself while teaching? So what is your experience with LinkedIn? How's it helped in you and other people reaching out and doing stuff? Kristin, I'll start with you on it.
I would say LinkedIn has brought to me in the last 6 months, since I've really gotten active, is a community that think the same way I do, that have the same beliefs. And that to me has been priceless, because, you don't always have that, in every job that you're in. The other thing it's allowed me to do is, with all the networking, I now have contacts that are internet, open my mind and kind of see things from different standpoint, when I'm hearing kind of issues we're dealing with in the schools in the United United States or issues that are happening internationally, make it better, because I hear, oh, there's more problems, but it's nice to know that we're not the only ones having, just having that support network has been really helpful.
Yeah, and Christine, again, not to steal your thunder, but I remember you saying that you just don't have coffee chats just to vent and talk, and vent and just kind of rave, but you do them for another purpose. So what do you do?
I've actually had coffee chats with people from all over the world, and there's some interesting people that are starting their own schools in other countries. And so talking about ideas, maybe problem solving, like in Africa, it's different because they don't have a government run school. So I'm learning a lot. And then they're trying to figure out how to problem solve. So I'm trying to think outside of the box for them too, just to figure out, like, can you tap into maybe a business? Can you tap into a business and then maybe rent some space there and then get some funding from the business to help out with their school? So I've been finding it really, very, very fascinating. So I'm running into a couple of people like that are branching out on their own.
Yeah, and I hear you talking about perspective, right? Like, it doesn't mean that our problems aren't real or hard or hard to deal with, but man, when I talk to people in different countries or different situations, like my buddy Kat Downing always says, Gucci problems, like the purse. She's like, it's just Gucci problems. Like, like in other words, it could be worse. We're not trying to figure out, like, some places don't even have computers, or books, right? Like, so it does help
Right.
perspective in that way to see that, yeah, it could be worse. That doesn't mean the problems go away. It doesn't mean it doesn't matter. But it does kind of get you back down to say, okay, it's not worse, but how do we make it better? And that's what I hear you ladies talking about all the time. You're not complaining, you're doing your job, you're not burying your head in the sand. And that's easy to do, because then when you pull your head out of the sand, it's just worse, right? So you're doing something about it, but you're doing it gracefully. And I think your positivity is what really, makes this work. It's hard. It's really hard. What would Mary Baker say? That's it.
Mary Baker right now.
Let's raise money for spa day for teachers. Yeah, I mean, me and my partner did that. We did teacher appreciation, and we came in and did stuff during the events, and the kids were playing, and we bought snacks and drinks and did all that for the teachers. And he said, well, that was for marketing. No, I mean, we really care. And in fact, yeah, so you go and buy a bunch of teachers stuff and tell them thank you. Yeah, they're probably open to listen to you a little bit more than if you didn't do that. So there's creative ways for businesses um, to go out there, show appreciation, and do a good deed. Like, so if no one talks to me, I'm not mad that I helped some teachers out today, right? Like, I'm okay. I'm not. I look homeless. I'm not homeless, right? So, like, to me, it's just fine. So if I never get business out of it, I mean, good. I help some teachers. God, Lord knows they could use some appreciation, right? So I love your mindset. Love how you ladies think. Love your positivity. What's the best way? Is it LinkedIn? If somebody wants to reach out to you, the very best way to reach out if they want to jump in the groups, if they want to be a part of the solution and helping others, is it just reaching out LinkedIn, Christine, or?
Yes, LinkedIn would be the best way. Yes.
Good deal. And if you're not on
Say,
LinkedIn, then what the hell's wrong with you? Get on LinkedIn. All right. Golly, right? They've let me in here. They let anybody. It's a great, great platform. Get on it. All right, Kristen, is it same for you?
I would absolutely say the same. I actually am on Facebook as well. And then also I do have my personal Gmail, if anybody.
Good. Well, so all the things we talked about, really heavy on growth mindset for teachers, and this is applicable. Like I said, you can apply this to everybody, parents also. When we had a conflict with school, it's easy to get reactive and upset, like Tabatha was talking about. Um, but ask questions, right? Seek to understand. Then you can eliminate a lot of the nonsense, and you can start to get. Once you empathize with the teacher who's working probably 12-hour days, right? At home and all this other stuff. Once you understand what they're going through, you're not mad anymore. You should be looking for solutions, and that's what you two ladies are about. So, final question, for me anyway. Thinking about everything that we talked about just now, all right, what's the takeaway? What did we learn about the growth mindset and the importance for teachers to remain in this space, in this growth mindset? What's the one thing? Don't all answer at once now.
You want to go ahead, Kristin?
Sure. I think the biggest thing is a quote that I would actually share from Dr. Carol Dweck, who is kind of pioneer of growth mindset. And you're in a growth mindset. What that means is that you choose to see struggle and challenge growth, and for learning and development. And truthfully, I don't know that you could education if you're not constantly looking at how can I improve, because that's what teaching is.
And then we also
Absolutely.
talked
I'm sorry. I wasn't laughing at her comment. I was laughing at Randy House. He finally figured out House of Pain. He Googled it a while back. Yeah, Randy's House of Pain. Go ahead, Christine.
So I was just going to say it's also a lifeline. So if you don't have a growth mindset, then you're cutting off your support system and you're setting yourself up for a lot of struggles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was
again, I think everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you cut out. You're pulling a Kristin on me.
I was kind of looking in the chats too, and somebody mentioned gratitude. And that's something that we did not mention, something that we both talk about like on LinkedIn, but gratitude is huge to make sure that you are maintaining a growth mindset and having that every single day too in your forefront, and being thankful for the things that are in your life.
Yeah, it's probably Becky, because that's the thing she says, like a parrot all the time. I'm grateful. So by the way, I want to trade earrings. All right. So give my daggum spinners back. I'll give you back your earring. All right. Thank you, Becky. All right. So ladies, I appreciate you guys, man. Everybody in the chat, I mean, they were engaged in this and they support you. We all support what you do because you make it look easy, but man, it's not easy. Let's get real. And thank you for staying. I mean, because I mean, again, the news can exaggerate, but I know people. We all know people. I mean, look at LinkedIn. Look how many little green circles are all over these teachers, and these teachers have been teaching for 20 something years. I mean, that tells you something. I mean, so we support people not just with their words, but coming to this show, being a part of this chat. Great comments. I mean, people are feeling this, and so hopefully that encourages you, ladies, to go back tomorrow, um, and even do it more. Right. So, Kristin, you've been a trooper. It's not your fault. Let me know what hotel you're staying. I'll call them later. Don't stay here. Don't.
I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you, ladies.
And all the flexibility.
Chris, that's okay. I'm glad you got that helicopter pad moved from your room. And Christine, again, you're just we'll have you back. We got to have you back. And reach out to Christine and Kristin. All right, if you guys can help or be supportive or just say thank you. I mean, that's a hell of a thing to get a bunch of just thank yous in your message box. So appreciate you all. Have a good day. And I'm just going to stop with the Redneck's final thoughts. I just think gratefulness, man. I am grateful for the community. I see Johanna. I think every time I say her name, she goes to bed, leaves. But Johanna is a contest winner. All right. Remember the contest, Christine, with the movie quotes? She's coming on the show February 8th.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's inspiring to me. I don't want to make her blush because then she might not come on the show. But she did a little live stream. Reminded me of Bob Ross, right? So anybody under 30 is like, what the hell is he talking about? But she was just doing her little paint. But what's extraordinary is that she's introverted. She's not the type of person like me just to run around the street and yell random people, right? She's very reserved and very, very calm. And so she does the live stream. I'm impressed because I know what that takes, right? I know that's courageous, but she loves what she does and she's inspired other people. So I can't wait to bring her on. I think it's February 8th. So in about 2 weeks, Supermom's coming next week. All right. Next week we'll be on. That'll be February 1st. That's the start of Black History Month. And so we're really happy to have Lachelle Atkins, America's Supermom, come on, do a tribute. She's got a special thing for us. Then Dan Roth. Yeah, he's kind of like Prince, just Mr. Roth. And I got to ask him to repost it. He did he bought a country hat and he got a cornfield and he did a video a while back. So I'm gonna
Okay.
have Dan, if he would do that. I don't know where Dan is. He must be asleep. Um, but we'll have Dan repost a video where he does me, right? He's doing me on the thing. I'm sitting there on a Saturday and I just saw Dan Roth is live and I clicked it. And what happens? And my wife's in the other room and she's like, is he acting like you? I was like, I think so. Right. And he comes up there and he's hauling and stuff. And it's so funny because I guess the time zone, there's all these people from Uganda going, are you okay, Dan? Like, are you feeling well? They didn't understand, like, oh, he's making fun of the redneck. They're like, we just thought you were having a nervous breakdown. So um, it's going to be a fun show, comedy, realness. We just like to just shoot this stuff, but he's all heart, and so I love people like that. So guys, our community is growing. If you want to engage with that, reach out to me. People in the chat. I mean, talk to somebody. We're always looking for good people to grow with. If you got something inspiring, or you know someone who's inspiring, or they're these teachers, right? Perfect example. Introduce them to us. I don't think of stuff and then I don't think of show topics and then try to figure out who to put in here. I meet extraordinary people, and then make a show about it. So because other people want to see it and hear it. And there's Kenny D, Ken Dunner. Oh my goodness! Wow. I guess everybody's sundial was miscalibrated today. All these people coming in. So now I'm gonna make Sia mad. Sia, we got to go another 2 hours on the show because all the people that usually come in the beginning are now here at the end.
Yeah.
I just saw Christine like, dude, I got to teach tomorrow. No way, Jose. All right. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Reach out, have fun. And remember, don't wait till you have confidence. You don't have confidence. Have courage to screw stuff up and look like an idiot if that's what it takes. And you'll get the confidence soon after. All right. So appreciate everybody. See you. Thank you. Brilliant Beam Media for taking care of this.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
my pleasure. Brilliant Beam Media for taking care of all the hard work that I have to do. You're great. So we'll see you on the next one. And don't forget to get Raquel Flores for Raquel Flores. Hounds of Business presents Raquel Center. Go to her. She's in the comments. So make sure you go ring her bell. Follow Raquel Flores and catch her show on Saturday. It's going to be amazing. Last show was amazing. And I think it was planned in 3 hours. So she's had all week to plan this one, buddy. So tune into that. All right. So I will see y'all in the next one. Round up the video. Yeehaw. See it. Push the button. Hopefully the button works. Okay. So I don't have an outro video either. Oh, sweet Jesus.
I'm having a dickens of a
Look,
time
now you're on
today.
mute.
I know. Sorry, I muted myself because you probably shouldn't have heard my non-education friendly expletives today. I literally reloaded the intro outro and son of a sea cook will not play right now. So everyone, my apologies. Restream.io. We are going to have some words because I never had this problem with StreamYard. Just saying.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, stuff happens, whatever. Just go back there and tap dance or something. We got to close the show with.
Well, you know what? Hey,
No?
you know, I'm gonna bring Tabatha back on, and we're all gonna sing together. Kumbaya, everyone. Ready? Kumbaya.
I don't know the words.
I don't either.
I don't either. But that light bulb, you can turn that light bulb off before you go to bed. That kid's head looks hot.
Oh, she's on mute. Oh, wait. Sorry, I muted you. Sorry, beautiful.
So it's like I'm leaving the light on for you.
All right, guys.
Well, just
on the count of three, we're all gonna wave goodbye.
Go ahead.
Wave goodbye.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.